Well, why don't you start us up?
We can start it up.
Start it up. Vroom.
Here we go, folks. Episode 23. Dave,
Yeah.
what you got going on this week?
Well, I'm currently healing up from some severe sunburn.
Yes, you did.
I'm peeling as we speak.
Hmm.
Uh, had a decent weekend. I spent uh, I spent my weekend in class getting my Maryland concealed permit.
You graduated high school finally. Good
Yep.
job.
Yep.
Way to go.
The rules here in Maryland are a little strict for guns, so they finally kind of opened it up. So we had to. It involves a 2-day course, and then you have to do a shooting course. So I was able to get that passed, and
Nice.
I can now strap.
The dude is
Um,
packing heat.
Packing heat, and then what else I got going on? This Saturday. Today's Wednesday, so Saturday. This is also an update for everybody that's been following along.
Hmm.
Me and TJ are heading to the farm, and we're pulling our tissue samples.
Hmm.
So we got some areas that we didn't spray with micronutrients. So that's just going to be clover. Then we have other areas that we spray with micronutrients. So we're going to be
Hmm.
testing, comparing the two.
Yeah.
So he's coming up. We're going to do that, and then we're going to be planting our incognito and doing a few things around the farm.
Yeah. Nice.
So and then I'll show him around the new farm. He hasn't been there yet, and he's going to come up during rifle season again and hopefully get his first buck.
Mm.
What do you got going on over there?
I have this week. I took the cultivators out and I broke up the ground everywhere that I had screening in last year. And some of those places I'm going to replicate the screen
Mm-hmm.
and blank off some areas with the screening coming up soon, but not this weekend. This weekend is the YouTube rendezvous over in Clarion.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be other YouTube creators meeting over there.
Mm-hmm.
Last year it was over 20 creators there, and this year they're expecting probably around 30.
I went with you one time.
Yes, he did. Guess what I'm taking to eat? I'm making food.
You're taking deer burgers.
Nah, I'm gonna make sloppy Joe out of bear meat.
Oh, there you go.
I made it last year and it was a huge hit, so I held back a couple pound uh, from my bear 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna make it again. It was
How's the out?
requested. It was
Oh,
requested that I make it again.
I was getting ready to ask you if any of them guys have had bear, but I guess they have.
They did last year, but a lot of time it was a lot of the first times for those folks, and they're not all hunters. The people
Mm-hmm.
that come from to this rendezvous,
Yeah, yeah.
like some of them are like hikers and preppers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the woman that actually asked me to do it, she does reviews and all this stuff, and she's like, "Chris, you got to bring those sloppy joes again. Those were great." So I said, "You know what? For you, I'm gonna make them again."
That just Saturday.
Yeah, well, Friday night, Saturday, and then they'll all bust out there Sunday morning. But
So you're spending the night?
no, no, it's
Oh,
well, you was there. It's like I can get there within a half hour.
yeah.
So
Same spot, right?
I'll be in and out, a couple times on Saturday,
Cool.
just seeing who's there and eating a little bit, and then I think we're gonna be going live and giving away some stuff, and
That's cool.
so yeah, it'll be a fun time.
You you mowed your clover, or did you
I
spray
did
with IMOX?
not. I did spray. I did spray this week. I
With
did.
IMOX.
Yep.
Okay.
I sprayed with IMOX. What's today?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. I sprayed 8 days ago. I did it last Monday.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
sprayed.
we haven't caught up much on stuff. I haven't talked to you much.
Yeah. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see some wilting and yellowing and stuff like that.
You,
IMOX takes a little while.
yeah, 12, 15 days, you'll see it.
I was going to say it takes about 2 weeks before you see some meltdown, but the clover looks fine still. We're just barely getting some dew in the mornings.
It's
To
so dry.
Oh yeah, it's horrible here, but We got some rain expected, possibly a chance on Saturday and next Tuesday. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, I saw it. It was like 4 or 5 days in a row out Western PA. They're calling for rain
Mm,
next week. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta get this Egyptian wheat in and get TJ up there this Saturday because I won't be able to do anything for the next couple weeks. So
yeah. I'll probably put the screening in here in, like I said, 2 weeks, and I should be ready to mow by then too, if I need to.
mhm.
You
Yeah,
know,
we're mowing too. So once we pull the tissue samples out of all the spots,
now I'm mowing over the clover. I'm not mowing my clover.
yeah, yeah,
I
we're
might
gonna.
clip. I might clip the tops. Maybe I got flowering like crazy.
So I've been paying attention to the cell cams, and all my clover's flowered now.
Is it now? Okay, because
Yeah.
the I didn't have any flowering out here in the feed plot behind camp, and
Hmm.
now it's starting to flower up too.
Yeah, everything's flowered up. So I'm gonna let TJ mow it.
It tells you maturity is happening.
Yeah, get him involved with that. Get him mowing it, and I'll do something else while he's mowing.
Hmm.
So, um, so
Maturation.
yeah. So today's topic, um, I brought this up actually a little while ago to you,
Hmm.
because it's had two questions this week, from two brand new hunters, and they were asking me, they found my YouTube channel or something, and they were like, "Hey, where do I start? I'm a brand new hunter. Like, there's so much information out there. What do I do? What do I avoid? What do I try?" And I want to make this podcast about that because it's kind of changing subjects a little bit, but I think it'll help a lot of people because I mean, hey, it might even help us kind of, because I have no idea what you want to talk about, and you
Right.
have no idea what my ideas are of
Hmm.
a new hunter. Um, and then also, um, we're officially in 47 states with the
Oh wow.
podcast.
Nice.
Maryland is number one. It
Oh yeah.
finally bumped up. Illinois is number two,
Huh.
and PA is number three.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I looked at the graph before we went live, and it's ever since we started back in December, it's steady incline. So
Yeah.
we're doing the right thing.
Huh.
Um, so everybody listening, thanks for listening. And then obviously, video version is on Chris's channel. And what do you got? What's your number one thing for a brand new hunter?
Well, I'm gonna skip the one thing right now,
Hmm.
and I'll say that gimmicks is one of the number one things I hate to see new hunters get involved in.
Okay, so
There's
give
so
people
many.
listening example.
Oh, there's so many gimmicks. I mean, how about here's a hilarious one. Back in the day, someone came out with a scent. It was acorn scent. It was for turkey hunting.
Mm, good one.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I'm sure a turkey can smell something, but I don't think you're luring in a turkey with acorn scent.
Well, I saw.
That's kind of like
Speaking,
blinker fluid,
yeah.
in the car.
So anybody that's new listening to this, what he just said with the acorn scent, I've seen people try to be scent free while turkey hunting because they don't
Mhm.
want to spook deer.
Mm,
That's the reasoning that I see a lot of people doing that now. And I think going back to gimmicks and everything and what some of the things I have written down, but I think people are doing that because it's just another way for that person to promote like a scent free company or something.
right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, I'm being scent free while turkey hunting. I don't want to spook my deer on the property. Well, dude, you're turkey hunting. You're calling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're moving around. Like, you're going to spook deer. It's not that big of a deal. Turkey
No.
hunting's in the spring.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
No.
Don't worry about that.
No. But how about the clicker for the squirrels? It's supposed to sound like nuts falling from a tree or something. Just click, 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 click.
I haven't
Supposed
seen
to
that one.
supposed to sound like a deer chewing on a nut or a squirrel chewing a nut.
Mm, I have not seen that.
That's funny. Yeah, there's a lot of gimmicks out there, and like I said, one of the. I mean, I like the Harrisburg show. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
Mm,
I like going and seeing all new products and stuff. But if you was a
yeah.
brand new hunter and you walk through all those halls, and you saw all that crap, you would just freaking hit the door running. Because, like, the other thing I was going to mention, a close runner up to gimmicks would be costs.
Yes.
Because everything costs so much right now. And they think they need these gimmicks that cost so much. You know, I mean, there's products out there that work. Don't get me wrong, but like these ozone machines and stuff like that,
Yep.
you're talking about dropping a $500 bill on something like that easy.
Hmm.
Um, to be sent free or whatever, or I just I hate to see people get steered wrong.
Well, years ago, I bought one of those Ozonics
Hmm.
machines, and I, I'm not. It's not that I was really into it, but I thought I was like, heck, I'll buy it. Maybe it'll give me a little extra boost.
Right?
And I hated the thing
Really?
because it was one more thing that I had to carry in the woods and set up. The smell of it gave me massive headaches,
I
and
don't like the smell of that stuff.
I don't either. I know some people swear by them, but
Hmm.
then, I mean, I didn't see no difference. Obviously, hunt the wind
Yeah.
shifts, wind changes, but it's, I just don't see any benefit to it really.
When it's just a side note, when I was at the old weld shop that I used to work at, and before they closed the doors down, there was a maintenance man there that was doing like this pyramid scheme, get rich quick thing.
Hmm.
And what they were selling was these ozone machines.
Hmm.
You're supposed to put this in your house and it's supposed to eliminate all the odors in your house and that. And he's like, you got to take this home for the weekend and try it. And then, I guarantee you're going to buy it. You're going to like it. And I said, well, what's it smell like? I mean, does it put off something? He's like, oh, you won't even notice it. Blah, blah, blah. I brought that thing home and it just smelled like something like electrical fire was on, like
Yeah.
there was something electrical going. And when I took it back to him, I told him, we unplugged the thing. We couldn't handle the stink. And he's like, "Oh, it's supposed to smell like a fresh, like lightning after a fresh rain." And I'm like, "What does lightning after rain smell like?"
Hmm.
He's like, "Well, that's what it's supposed to smell like." I said, "Dude, it stunk. We didn't like it. We unplugged it." He's like, "Well, did it take the odor out of your house?" I said, "To be honest, we didn't run it long enough. We couldn't handle it."
Yeah, I mean, I know ozone has benefits. Back in the day, I went to a bunch of classes about, ozone and HVAC and stuff like that. So I know it kills germs and bacteria and stuff like that,
Right.
but
It does.
you're out in the wide open, like, and it smells so much of a concentration of ozone.
Hmm.
Like, I did have deer come downwind of me, and they get downwind when the machine was running, and they would
Hmm.
stop because they smelled it. It's so much of a
Yeah.
concentration.
Yeah. You can smell it.
Um, and then I actually had a doe kind of back off because it's just, I don't know. I don't like it. So,
Well, that's another thing, just going down my list of things with the gimmicks and the costs and like you start talking about like camo clothing, things that you're going to use. Uh, there's how many brands of camo out there, and these guys will jump on Facebook. And, what's the best for this? What's the best for that? And you got 1,000 different answers. Yeah, Facebook's your worst place to find information.
mhm.
There's so many keyboard experts out there.
Well, my number one thing here, not number one, it's no order, but my first thing on the list is just too much information on the internet.
Yeah.
Any person that is just getting into hunting, I mean, yeah, that you can learn some stuff from the internet, obviously, but
Hmm.
you're going to get 100 different answers to every situation.
For sure.
And I
For
think what
sure.
that person needs to focus on more is just going out into the woods. I mean,
Hmm.
fortunately, I grew up in the woods when I was a kid, squirrel hunting, rabbit hunting, and I think that would be an awesome thing for a new hunter to get into. Would be like small game hunting, rabbits, squirrels, birds, and stuff, just to
Y-
kind of teach them how to handle guns and just kind of like be in the outdoors, not
Yeah, you
necessarily deer hunting, but just being out there.
you got a point there. Yeah.
That's, I don't know.
They should start small and work their way up.
Hmm.
That's what we did. Dad broke us in on squirrel hunting.
Mhm.
And that's where I, that's probably where they should start if they're
Yeah.
new.
That's where my
Start with
dad, I
that.
mean, my dad took us squirrel hunting and rabbit hunting.
I remember the first time out squirrel hunting, and the weekend before we went, Dad took us out. We had an old H&R break open single shot, and he brought along a box of shells, and he made
Mhm.
my brother and I just bang away. We shot a whole box of shells between the two of us,
Yep.
and he's just like he put up a cardboard box and said, "Shoot that box." Well, then the next weekend he actually took us out in the woods, and I just remember that first squirrel, and I was just like so concentrated on aiming at that thing, almost like I thought I was shooting a 22. Like I had one projectile in that gun and I had to hit that squirrel. That's how concentrated I was on. And I was like, "What the heck are you doing? There's like 80 some BBs in that shell. Why? Just pull the trigger, man." So I let it rip, and boom, the squirrel went flying. Yeah, I was like, "Okay, yeah, I made this.
Mhm.
I made." See, that's another thing. They make you make it too hard on yourself. Listening to other people,
Mhm.
because everybody has these standards and they'll give you all this advice, and then you got to try to live up to your buddy, keep up with the Jones. Dude, just go out and do your thing.
Yeah, definitely. My dad wasn't a hunter at all, but I wanted to get into it, so he just did it,
Yeah,
to take me.
he took you out,
Um, yeah, but
mentored
birds
you.
and yeah, rabbits, squirrel.
Hmm.
Um, didn't kill a lot of rabbits, uh, but we killed a lot of squirrels.
Now that my dad took me out, when we were young, but it lit a fire in me, and he didn't go very much. He was always busy around the house or working on a car or something. But
Hmm.
when I was old enough to hunt on my own, I took off, man.
Yeah.
Had my hunting license and my own car.
Yep.
Boom! I was hunting all the time. Yeah, it lit a fire in me. But you know what? I don't small game hunt at all now.
I don't
Believe
either.
I
I
don't.
No, I don't either.
And to be honest, I don't even know if I'm going to turkey hunt anymore. Turkeys do not. I don't know, man.
You quit.
I quit on them this year. I still had 3 days left to hunt, and I quit on them. I threw in the towel.
You
They had
quit.
hens. They had hens all season here. I could not compete. I
Well,
got so frustrated.
you didn't go the opening week.
Yeah, I didn't. The very first day I didn't go, and then the second week I went, there was other people there or on this land, and they spooked the birds.
Hmm.
And then it was just all downhill from there. It was so hard to hunt these birds once they got pressurized, you know. But the hens didn't help. That was for sure.
Right. Yeah. Um, my next thing is for a challenge to a new hunter is everything's so expensive.
Yes, that's what I had costs.
Um, being a hunter now, I mean, people say that it's a rich man's sport. It can be.
Getting to
Um,
be.
it depends obviously what gear you buy and stuff and how much you
Mhm.
want to put into it. But like
Yeah.
deer hunting for me is my life. That's all I think about. That's all I want to do. So I have spent a lot of money on gear and stuff like that, but it's investment and
Hmm.
because that's what I like to do. But for a hunter, I mean, you got especially if you want to decide to rifle hunt, shotgun hunt,
Yeah.
bow hunt, um, it can get pricey. I mean, a
I
dozen
was.
a dozen arrows,
Yeah.
a three pack of broadheads are like $40.
I was
Um,
fortunate enough when I was 12 that Dad went out, and my gift at 12 was a 30-30 rifle, and that's how I started deer hunting.
mhm.
Now, as far as archery went, uh, Dad had this old bear. What is it? Bear? I think it's called a bear grizzly. If I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's an old fiberglass recurve or something from way back in the I think 50s, 60s. Anyhow, that's what I whacked my first deer with, and that was I was hooked ever since then, archery wise.
My
Hence the
first
name Sticker.
my first deer was with a PSE Nova.
Oh, my dad had one of them.
I was 14 years old.
single cam,
Yep.
had
I
them
love that
zebra
bow.
strings on it.
I love
Eh,
that thing.
You know what? It was slow, but a very good bow,
I mean,
and
we're
it was
talking
very accurate.
20 some years ago, 20 years ago.
Dad still has one in a case somewhere.
Yeah, I think I
It
ended
looks
up
like brand new.
I think I ended up I took that bow to a bow shop to get it tuned up or something, and they told me that the limbs were cracked.
Oh
They
yeah,
had like some kind of microscopic tears, or might have been a way to sell me a new bow, but
probably.
um, I ended up buying a Bowtech 340.
Hmm.
Um, hated that bow. Hated it.
I never had a Bowtech.
Had it. It was terrible to shoot. It was one of them speed bows. Had a short brace height. And it was just
Mhm.
very hard to shoot. But yeah, I mean, there's so many options out there for hunters. It's like, what the heck do you shoot?
Yeah,
Start small. I mean, shoot, the bow I got now is like 8 years old. It's
yeah,
a prime rise. I killed dozens of deer with it. So you
yeah.
don't
I mean,
need you don't need to go crazy.
no, you don't. And the actually the bow in that picture back there behind my head,
Hmm.
right there with that bear, is a PSE Carroll's 3D Dominator. And that came with steel cables and round energy wheels. And I cracked limbs. I went to an IBO shoot. I called ahead to the rep, said, "Hey, can you fix me up?" He said, "Bring it." And that's when the second leg was up in Erie. And the rep put new limbs on it. And he swapped me over to a string and cable with hatchet cams.
Mm,
Oh, man. We used to call that bow the meat stick because it has quite a number of notches in it. That
nice,
thing, that's killed a lot of deer. I still have it. It's hanging right beyond the wall here.
nice.
Yeah. That
What else you
thing,
got on the list?
what I got? I had it back in 95. Okay, next on the list.
95.
Yeah, I got that bow
I
back
was
in
1 year
95.
old.
You're young. You look old, but you're young. Yeah.
Young and handsome.
Okay, next on my list
What you
was
got?
where to hunt. And what I mean by that is no, I don't mean public or private, which that's a whole nother spectrum. But gaining access to public lands, or should you go, to public land, or can you acquire some private land and things? Um, that could be a challenge depending on where you live.
Hmm.
Like when I lived in Pittsburgh, and I had this passion to hunt, but there was 10 acres of woods in the city where I lived, and about two of it was all I could legally hunt because the other 8 acres was owned by tree huggers that if they saw you in there, they would call the police on you. So, yeah, where to hunt, having a place to go, that's confusing for a new person. And they don't know what, if they've never hunted before, they don't know what they're looking for. You know, tree stand, ground blind, what do I do? Um,
Well, I think
do I hunt near a creek? I read this in a magazine. Should I try this? That type of thing.
that's where a new person can get some information is on the internet about that. But it all goes back to you just being in the woods, scouting, learning how deer move, use trails. Just spending the time out. It's not something you can learn in a day. You know.
Obviously, the best thing a new person could do is take on an older person to mentor them.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you could do.
Yeah.
Find someone you trust and, you know, will not steer you wrong, and stick with them and let them teach you something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Here's something that
Kind of like you do with me. I teach you everything. You just stick with me.
here we go. Um, here's something that will really screw a person up, and it's each area, each state, each property, whether you're on the East Coast or Central, you have to hunt a certain way.
Mm.
Like each property, like say you have public land. Well, you can just willy nilly through the public land set up. If you screw an area up, you can just walk 300 yards and hunt a new spot. Public land is different. You can't just go. busting through the public land because, or the private land that say you have 40 acres because that's the only 40 acres you have to hunt.
Right.
You have to hunt it differently.
Mm.
You have to be cautious so you don't, spook the deer and everything like that. And I know guys that'll try to, sometimes you can push it, hunt further in when a rut comes and stuff like that. But my method is kind of just hunt on the outsides, less intrusive, bring the deer to you, if you're using food plots or something. But um, I just think each area,
Using
whether
it,
you're
using that acorn scent.
yeah, yeah, whether you're hunting, big woods areas, you're going to hunt that different compared to ag areas. You have to learn the property and realize just because one person is hunting a certain way 500 miles away doesn't mean you can hunt the same way.
Right.
Hunting public land and hunting private land is completely different.
Well, like we said earlier, listening to everybody's opinions is going to be a downfall.
Hmm.
They need to just get out there and do it. You
Yep.
know, you're gonna learn most by being out there and scouting and doing stuff yourself. But like I said, if you have a mentor, they
Yeah.
could guide you through that
Yeah.
for sure. For sure.
But
Yeah.
that's still a challenge because that new hunter, they're going to be like, oh, well, I read this online, or I saw this person doing this, or something. But what that person needs to do is, like you said, focus on that mentor. Find
Mm,
find somebody you can trust. Do what that somebody that's successful. Follow what they do what they say, and learn from them.
yeah. How about this? How about like morning or evening sits?
Hmm.
You know, I'm more I'm I'm a better evening sitter. Um, I haven't shot that many deer in the mornings, to be honest.
Oh, I've shot. Funny, I shot both my bucks last year in the mornings.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
first first time I've done that.
I've shot more deer after lunchtime than anything,
Mm.
for sure.
Majority of my success would be in the afternoon as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't kill a whole lot in the mornings. Well, first of all, I work every day, dang near. You know, uh, the only time I can hunt a morning is a Saturday morning, um, and we can't hunt Sundays in PA. So
Well,
you
you can
don't have
hunt
a
two.
you don't have a Monday there or a Sunday there to hunt. You know, so but that's a whole nother subject. I'm not going to get into that. We got all kind of hate mail over that before, talking about the pros and cons of Sunday hunting. But yeah, I'm more of an evening guy. A lot of it has to do is there with having no agriculture around me. It would be a little easier to hunt mornings if I had fields of agriculture, and then I could set up, going away from the field, going back to a bedding area or something. But
Hmm.
we don't have that. We don't have that. Even the food plots that I plant, those deer, as soon as you know, if it starts to even get light, they're gone. They're gone. You don't see deer out in the fields in the morning normally.
Well, they're going back to bed.
Yeah, they're. You've got to be pretty deep in the woods somewhere and figure out where they're going. That's where trail cameras comes in handy. Sometimes you
Hmm.
can sometimes pattern them going back to bed, and you don't have to sit up that way. But you know, there again, like I said, I'm more of an evening guy. But
Yeah, I mean, for a new hunter, realize that in the afternoons you're hunting the deer coming out to feed.
yeah,
In the mornings, most times, unless you're in the rut or something, you're catching the deer coming back
back from eating.
from eating. They're feeding out, majority of the night. And
Yep.
the idea is you catch them coming off those food sources, transitioning wherever they're
Mhm.
transitioning through back to bed.
Yep.
So
Got to
that's
work travel corridors basically
yeah, that's the
to and
different.
from.
That's the difference between the two for
Yeah.
a new hunter. I like afternoons better. Um, during a rut, I've had a lot of success in the mornings, but I'd say overall success would be afternoons
Hmm.
in general.
Yeah. I'm an
So
evening guy.
I am too.
So what do you think? You think we beat that dead horse?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I
I'm
hopefully
good.
that
I'm
hope
good.
yeah, hopefully that helps, some guys. I think the takeaway from it is, again, just being out there.
Mm-hmm.
Be in the woods, hunt, set up, and fail. Get, spook a deer, in your stand. Realize what you did wrong. Play the wind. See how the deer react. Try to be stealthy. Um, and just be out there.
Yeah.
Just get out there as much as you can, and don't try to compete with anybody. Learn your own ways, and you can decide yourself if you want to be, a trophy hunter, or you just want to have fun and shoot whatever,
Yeah.
because both is fine.
Well, here's my takeaways: buy the best equipment you can afford without going in debt, and and go in, travel as lightly as you can at first, and add gimmicks as you think you need them.
Hmm.
If you feel like you could use something, okay, go get it. But don't listen to everybody else at first. And you have all this equipment. Okay, I'm going hunting, and you look like a pack mule going into the woods.
Yeah, you don't need much.
You
You
don't
don't need
need a
much.
whole lot to get started.
Yeah.
Just but get what you can afford, and practice, practice, practice.
I
First of
will
all,
I will say this too is I'm big on communication. So I always take my phone with me, because I've had I've had friends over the years that fell out of stands and stuff. So if you're a guy that's hunting alone, just take your phone with you.
that's a
Um,
good point. Yeah,
text, call somebody. There's actually iPhones now. Well, you can do it for a while, but you can share your location with people so they can see where you're at 24/7. Share it with your wife, girlfriend, whatever, daughter,
yeah,
son. Just let them know where you're at.
yeah. It's true.
You know what I mean?
Be safe. Of course, you want to come home in one piece.
I
That's
know.
a whole nother thing. You can take that advice from anybody.
Yeah,
Be safe.
definitely, for sure.
Come home in one piece
Yeah.
so that you
So
can try it all again.
yeah, that's it. On another day.
Yep,
So yeah, I'm gonna keep everybody updated over this weekend. Where I'm gonna get them analysis tests done.
that'll be interesting.
I gotta print the forms out today, and then I'm gonna ship those out Monday morning, and I should have email results hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday. So
You're gonna work TJ like a dog
I am.
in
So
the
they'll
heat.
probably Yep. So there'll probably be the results probably won't be on next week's podcast. There'll be 2 weeks podcast from now. We'll go over the entire situation, and I will have a YouTube video about it as well.
Okay.
So that's all I got today.
All right. Episode 23. All done.
Later, Gator.
See ya.